Okay, so in the last lesson we looked at how to expand brackets. This is just taking it one step slightly more complicated, and you're likely to see this towards the end of the Foundation GCSE paper, where you're asked to do two steps, which is firstly to multiply out the brackets separately. So we're going to expand our bracket, and then after we've expanded, we're going to simplify by collecting like terms. So we're going to have a go at two examples now. So the first one here, we're asked to firstly expand, and then we're going to simplify. And the easiest way to do this is to think at the end of this first bracket, I'm just going to put a dotted line, just to remind myself that I'm going to treat these two expressions separately at the beginning. So we're going to expand that first bracket. So I'm going to multiply 3 by 5x. 3 times 5x is going to give me 15x. And then I've got to do 3 times by my minus 6 here, which is minus 18. So I've expanded that first part. I'm now going to take the second part. I've got plus 2, so positive 2 outside, times by 4x. So positive 2 times by 4x is going to give me positive 8x, and then I've got positive 2 times by a positive 4 here, which is going to give me my positive 8. Now we should be able to see that I've got two types of terms. I've got a term involving x's, and I've got a term involving numbers. So I'm going to firstly do my terms involving x's, which I'm going to just underline in red. So I've got my 15x, which is a positive 15x, and a positive 8x. Positive 15 and positive 8 is going to give me 23x. Now slightly more complicated, here, and I'm going to underline this in black, I've got my numbers. I've got a negative 18 and a plus 8. It doesn't matter which order I do this. I can either think about starting at minus 18 and going up by 8, or I can think about starting at 8 and going down by 18. Well, let's start at minus 18, so there's 0. There's my minus 18 down here. I'm going up by 8, so minus 17, minus 16, minus 15, minus 14, minus 13, minus 12, minus 11, minus 10. That takes me up to minus 10. I've gone up by 8 to get to minus 10. So it gives me an answer of 23x minus 10. That's the first example complete. Okay, so we're going to try and do the same with the second example, and this is slightly more complicated, and we're going to see why now. So again, I'm going to put my dotted line here at the end of that first bracket. So I've got that 3, which remember is a positive 3. 3 times 2m gives me my 6m. I've then got 3 times by negative 6. Positive 3 times by a negative 6. A positive times a negative gives me negative 18. I've then got, after my line, I've got negative 4 times by m. This gives me negative 4m. Now here is the bit where people tend to make mistakes. I've got negative 4 times by negative 2. Negative 4 times by negative 2. They've both got a negative in front of them. So a negative times a negative is going to give me a positive answer. So that's going to give me plus 8. Now, let's deal with my m's first. I've got my 6m and my minus 4m. 6 take away 4 gives me 2m. Again, I've got minus 18 and plus 8, which is exactly what I had before. Minus 18 plus 8 gives me minus 10. So be really careful where you've got a negative here. Make sure you get those signs absolutely right. Can you pause the video now and make sure you've got those worked examples written down, that you understand them perfectly, and then once you've done that, unpause the video and we can go on to some questions. Okay, so here are 4 questions for you to try. In the first one, all of the signs are positive, so you should be okay there. Be careful here in the second one, because you've got a positive times by a negative out here in the second bracket. In the third bracket, you've got a negative times a negative, so take extra care. And then once you get to the fourth one, again, you've got negative times a negative, so take care with that. Pause the video, have a go at answering these questions, at expanding and simplifying them. And then once you've done that, press unpause and we can have a look at the answers. Okay, so having a look at the first one, I'm going to put in my lines here. 2 times x is 2x plus 2 plus 3x plus 6. Simplifying that gives me 5x plus 8. For my second one, I've got 3 times 2x is going to give me 6x. 3 times 5 is plus 15. Here I've got plus 4 times 3, so it's going to give me plus 12. And then I've got plus 4 times minus x is going to give me minus 4x. Simplifying my x's, I've got 6x, take away 4x is 2x, plus 15 and plus 12 is plus 27. For the third one, 5 times 3 gives me 15, 5 times 2a gives me plus 10a. Minus 2 times 3 gives me minus 6, minus 2 times minus 2a gives me plus 4a. Minus times a minus gives me a plus. I've got plus 10a and plus 4a gives me 14a. And I've got plus 15 and a minus 6 gives me plus 9. So 14a plus 9 is my final answer. My last one, this is the hardest you're going to get on a foundation paper. 3x times 2x gives me 6x squared. 3x times minus 5 gives me minus 15x. Minus 6 times 2 gives me minus 12, and I've got x squared times x to the power of 1. So adding my powers is going to give me x cubed. I've got minus 6 times a minus 4 is going to give me plus 24x squared. Now I've got 3 types of term. I've got a term involving x, I've got 2 terms involving x squared, and I've got 1 term involving x cubed. So the only ones I can simplify are my x squared term. So I've got minus 15x, that one's done, minus 12x cubed, that one's done. Now I've got a plus 6x squared and a plus 24x squared is going to give me plus 30x squared. And these can be in any order, doesn't matter which way around they are. Okay, can you pause your video, give yourself a mark out of 4. If you need any more assistance on this topic, please take a look at Hegarty Maths clip number 161. Well done.